This is the Rebel Author Podcast, where we talk about books, business, and occasionally bad words. And welcome to our Christmas, technically Poison and Prose, but our New Year's Day podcast episode, which is a special episode because we have, I'm not even going to count, 14 of us on this call. And this is our usual Poison and Prose, but we're changing things up and we are going to bring you a delightful, heartwarming episode full of goodness, goals, and a little bit of joy. So the way that this is going to work is that I'm going to do micro interviews, hot seat all of our community this evening. Thank you, Cassie, for that term, which I'm stealing with pride. And we're gonna find out a little bit more about our lovely community and all of our patrons, and fill ourselves with a little bit of joy as we go into 2025. So I'm really sorry, but I am gonna pick. I'm gonna pick on you. So be prepared. And she knows it's coming, but Cassie, I'm gonna come to you first and foremost. Because you know I love you, and it's okay, and I know that you're more extroverted than some of us. So, Cassie, would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you write? And tell me something about your publishing.
Okay. So my name is Cassie, and I write as C.M. Newell for young adult fantasy and poetry this year. And I also am writing as C.K. Darling, which is contemporary romance and short insta-love novellas. And I think you said, what am I grateful for this year? Was that one of the pre-questions?
Well, yeah. So my first question is, tell me something that you're grateful for this year.
Okay. I'm grateful for being re-inspired this summer to find C.K. Darling and write short romances this summer. And it was just a creative summer. So I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to do that.
What do you find inspiring about it?
I was inspired because it's so funny you asked me that, because I read a ton of romance, but I'm not writing it. Although there's always been a romantic subplot in my young adult fantasy, I've never written it as the main genre. And the fact that I am a voracious reader in it is kind of like, why didn't I connect the dots? I think I'm one of the ones when you're like, oh, I'm looking for this type of romance when you were studying. And I'm like the first to go, oh, I know that trope. I know this one. I give you a list. And it's like, where have I been? So I'm really excited because my why has changed. I started because I had teenage daughters at the time. Now this is all for me.
I love it. Okay, well, I would love to know, what are your 2 to 3 goals for next year?
So you're getting 2.
Okay, cool.
And they're pretty blockbusters for me. So one, I'm busting into the romance genre with a goal to build, and I am publishing 10 novellas in 2025 in 3 different series. So that's huge. And second, nobody is really aware of this, or a select few, I'm launching a new podcast in January, all through next year. It's called The Author Next Door. And the vision for that is to give back and to be inspired. And I have a co-host who you may know as Angela Haas, and we are rip-roaring and ready to go. So I'm super excited about it. Those are my 2 big goals.
That is huge, and very, very excited. I can't wait to ask you in a year's time what you've learned about podcasting. So I will await doing that for a year. Okay, so my last question for you before I give the hot seat to somebody else is, give me a tip for 2025, something that you've learned this year, something that you maybe that you're taking into next year. I don't know. Hit me with something that you've learned.
Okay, so it may not be all that earth shattering, but breakthroughs happen just beyond your fear and self doubt. And sometimes you just have to jump in your creative fun. For me, that was poetry, and it did blockbustery things. So I think I'm going to continue. And I'm very excited about that because I did it just because I loved it. And I love poetry and I love different types of art. So for me, I think that was a huge tip for me that sometimes you're afraid to do something, but sometimes you just have to jump and see if it even works. And I also think, too, that it's okay to change your mind. So this past year, I've always kind of had this regimented idea of where I fit, and I'm changing all of it. And I love that I can change my mind and I don't feel any guilt about it. I'm okay with pivoting and changing course. And sometimes that's harder than you think it is when you say it. So you just have to repeat it to yourself that it's okay. And it's really scary to do something new, but I'm super excited about it. So that's my tip for everyone.
I really love that because I, that sort of leaning into like the fear or the thing that you are very excited about or the joyful thing has been a bit of a topic of conversation in the last month. And I've seen a lot of people see success when they just do the thing that's like in their heart. So I absolutely love that and I'm really excited for you. And I tell you what, just to make this game a little bit more naughty, do you want to nominate someone to go next?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I think it must be JP.
Yeah.
Cool, 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 cool. Great.
JP, welcome, darling. Tell
Hello.
everyone a little bit about you and what you write.
Well, I am JP Reinfers the Ninth. I am a writer of things dark, strange, and queer, but I do focus in on cozy queer fantasy as of recently. So that's what I'm doing.
Amazing. I love it. And you've got some gorgeous book covers as well. So,
Yeah.
would you like to tell me something that you are grateful for in 2024?
Yeah. So, it's a minor self plug, but whatever. I'm really grateful for the writer Twitch community. So I'm one of the Twitch streamers on Twitch who uses it for productivity. So we'll do sort of like what Poison Prose does, where we do sprints, writing focus sessions, and then sort of those breaks and chats in between. And that has helped me so much with accountability. I started doing it because in the mornings I wasn't finding anyone who was really filling that space, and so I did, and then I ended up finding a really awesome community through it. So I'm super grateful for that community.
I love that. And I love that once again, it's community. Like I feel like it's so important and that's why I love you guys so much. Okay.
Mhm.
2 to 3 goals for 2025.
Oh, okay, sure. So I have a goal to get a Kickstarter out next year. So I have a cozy queer fantasy called Mosswood Apothecary, which did really well on Kindle Vella, RIP. And now I want to do a really fancy, pretty book. So that's one of the goals is to get that out there and to hopefully have that be mostly successful, if not extremely successful. And then also I mean, Kindle Vella died, unfortunately, but luckily the success I had over there grabbed some attention. So I'll be launching something on Tapas, which is a company that owns Radish. So I'm sort of working with them, and I'm hopefully going to get something launched on there. So I guess those are my goals.
That is extremely exciting. I can't wait to
Yeah.
see how that goes and what you learn from it, which is a great segue into asking you for a tip for listeners. What's your tip for everybody listening for 2025?
I guess sort of similar vein in Cassie, but have the audacity to ask. Ask
Yes.
questions, ask permission, or not permission, but ask someone to help you. The worst they can do is say no, right? The best they can do is say yes, and in the middle ground, maybe they point you into a different direction that can help you. But always have the audacity to ask someone. If you're starting up a podcast and you think that there is a certain name of somebody that you want to reach to, but you don't think that you can, ask them. I've done that before and they've responded. Some people have been like, yeah, absolutely not. Okay, that's fine. But some people have actually, joined in, and it's been really fun. So always have that audacity, because you should take up space.
I love that so much. I have had to get very comfortable with no on a variety of fronts. One, no for like me saying no, but also me receiving no's because I am doing more asking and I am, I've just spent a whole bunch of time like asking to kind of interview people and, or take people for coffee to pick their brains and all the rest of it. So yeah, I love that. I think that's bloody brilliant. Okay. Throw the mic. Who are you chucking the mic at?
Gonna be Eden.
Way. Eden, welcome. Tell everyone a little bit about you and what you write.
Hello, so I'm Eden, as has been said. I am a non-binary steampunk author who lives with two very beautiful cats who occasionally appear, called Grogu and Paytel. And I write steampunk, sci-fi fiction, but sort of non-fiction as well. So I write non-fiction, but in-universe non-fiction. So like what I've been focused on this year has been newspaper articles and little history Wikipedia articles, I call them at the moment, for want of a better word, for all the different places. So I'm doing a lot of world building, which makes me happy.
Are you going to make that into a coffee table book that you kickstart?
I will. I will.
Cool.
I'm publishing the individual ones first, and then I'm going to put them all together and an extra couple of things that I need to discover what, and then kickstart it and send it all out.
Oh, that is fucking brilliant. I can't wait to see that. Okay, what are you grateful for this year?
I am grateful for, and I'm glad I went sort of fairly early so I can swoop in and take this one. But I'm grateful for this community.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. Someone had to say it, but I just thought, yeah, I have to go like early because I can't think of another one. But I'm grateful for this community because it's just so nice to, yeah, just it's just so nice, and everyone's so lovely, and it's just so. Oh, and I've seen some of you in the meet space, and it's just been so nice. It's
I
been
love
so.
that. What are your 2 to 3 goals for 2025?
So my two goals for next year is to travel more, to go to new places this year, or a couple more new places, and also to publish more. So I've got a couple of things out at the moment, and I publish weekly on Substack. But I want to publish a bit more and get a few more bits and pieces out.
Amazing. And what is your tip for 2025 for listeners?
So my tip for 2025 and indeed all years is to embrace the absurd because I can't remember where I heard it, but there's something like there's 8 billion people in the world. At some point on any given day, 8,000 people experience a 1 in a million chance, and most of them go, huh, "Funny old world, isn't it?" And they just carry about their day. So I like the idea of just embracing the absurd and the things that go wrong, and just take it as an experience and just go, "Oh, funny old world, isn't it?" Just carry on and incorporate it.
I love that. Be more chill, be more Eden.
Yeah, be more Eden, indeed. Yes,
Amazing.
I like that. Yes, be more Eden.
Who are you chucking the mic at?
Oh, so I'm gonna go for. Is it too early for Emma? Is Emma too early? Just looking at facial reaction. Oh yeah, yeah. Screw it. I'm gonna go Emma. I know.
You are like very lucky that I'm actually done writing down the things that I need to tell you all about.
Amazing. Emma, tell everyone a little bit about you and what you write.
So I'm Emma Rose. I'm an entrepreneur, an editor, and a romance writer. I really like, especially like monster romance. So yeah, that's what I write. And I edit also romance books because I just love anything that has to do with relationship between people. That's really my jam.
Amazing. And what are you grateful for this year?
My family.
Oh, I love that.
It's been a hard year. There's been many, many like hard things, both professionally and personally. And my family has been there through everything and they have my back. And I really like Marie and Nathan, Papa, Maman, I love you.
Oh my gosh, please just speak to me in a foreign language for more, for longer. Oh, the podcast gets inappropriate. Right. What are your 2 to 3 goals for 2025?
My goals. So I am going to publish my nonfiction. So on my like other business, which is not the editing side, I have a nonfiction that has been sitting for years and it just needs to get out. So that's like priority. And then I'm going to write one fiction project and like hold myself to that. And finally, I'm also going to, so I've basically been working on the side on some kind of editing tool that uses AI to basically satisfy my intellection input, like learner kind of triad. They like want to get deeper into every single story, and like it's basically helping me edit the books for my clients, but also like hopefully it can help other writers edit their own books. So I would like to share this with more writers. That's third goal.
That sounds very interesting. Okay. What tip are you going to give listeners for 2025?
Well, in the spirit of playing with AI a lot this year, it's very good. Like especially like ChatGPT with the latest version has gotten so powerful, so powerful, but you only get as much as you actually put in. So you really need, like, if you don't have the right answer right away, you need to tweak the prompt like over and over and over again until you finally have like a correct result. And it might take a long time, but it's really worth it.
Yeah, that is why my patience is tested. I was I'm not, let's not talk about my rage. Who are you going to pass the mic to?
I'm going to pass the mic to Amy.
Okay, Amy. Tell everyone who you are, what you write or what you do, whichever one you prefer.
Well, maybe I'll do both. I'm Amy Sund, and I am a fiction editor. But I also write fantasy and apparently now second chance 40 plus romance.
Wow, that sounds cool. Cool.
Yeah. That's what I'm outlining currently. So yeah, we'll see how those go. But I do both actually. And let's see. I'm grateful for all of you guys, for all of the amazing authors that I've worked with. And many of you are here, but there are also others who are other places in the world, and you all continually astound me with your creativity and dedication to what you do. I love reading your work. I love seeing it in sometimes really formative phases, and then what it comes out to be at the end. It's just really gratifying, and I'm so honored and to be part of your process. Really, I'm really grateful for that.
I love that so much. That's so heartwarming. I'm almost like I'm going to have to actually try and control the emotion because I have to keep up the dead inside, reputation for 2025. Okay, what are your 2 to 3 goals for 2025?
Pretty much the same as this year. I want to keep working with fantastic authors. It can be a challenge now with the rise of just what Emma was talking about with AI and everything. It's a challenge now. So I want to keep working with as many people as I can, and then to write my own things when I'm not editing, which is a challenge in itself. But I realize that it's part of the process. I'm taking in so much, I need to be able to put out as well.
Wait, where's your input?
Number one.
Oh, yeah, okay, that explains everything then. Yeah, it makes a whole heap of sense, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, okay, cool. Wait, no, did I do, yeah, wait, where are we? Yeah, the tip, yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the one that's really stuck with me is, and it was actually from Tiffany Yates Martin, who I admire her work and her presentations and everything quite a lot. There are no rules. There are no rules in writing. And if you can dream it up, you can find a way to make it work.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I believe it too.
Yeah.
Okay, who are you chucking the mic to?
Let's see. How about Dawn?
Dawn, tell everyone a little bit about you and what you write.
I am Don Elliott. I write dark, epic, fantasy, character-driven. I am in the Pacific Northwest and a business owner, so I am fortunate enough that I get to write 20 to 30 hours a week and not have to have my income dependent on writing. So I get to write whatever I want, and I don't care if it's successful. That's a lie. I really do.
Okay. What are you grateful for this year?
I'd say I'm grateful for, community. Everyone's saying community, so I feel like I want to do something different, but definitely community, the author community, so many different subsets of it. But I'll say my partner, she is incredibly supportive, deals with all my crazy author emotions and weird timing and all the things that comes with me. So her support has been absolutely amazing.
Oh, I love that. Mostly because I love romance. But okay, what are your 2 to 3 goals 2025?
Well, on the writing front, my plan is to publish an anthology and a new novel. The anthology is based around the previous trilogy that I just finished up in October. So it kind of wraps up that whole thing. And then the other goals, we went off the deep end and decided to buy a pub. So we're opening up a pub in January.
Wow, okay. That is off the deep end, like left field. Like, that's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. A tip for 2025.
I think what came to mind for me was one of the things I struggled earlier in the year with my author voice and started getting really insecure about my prose and just what is my voice. And I started obsessing over it. And the final conclusion I came to is basically fuck your voice. Write boldly, write forward, write aggressively, write however it comes to you, and just let your voice be there. And I think that gave me a lot more freedom. And now I just care about, do I like the words on the paper or not? And whatever that voice is, then that's my voice.
I love it. I love that. Okay, who are you going to chuck the mic at?
Let's go with Ruth.
Ruth, tell everyone a little bit about you and what you write.
I'm Ruth, and I'm in Canada, Toronto, Canada. So, and I write queer historical fiction. So, yeah.
Amazing. And what are you grateful for this year?
I'm grateful that I signed up for the Pro Writing Aid boot camp because I met Sasha Black.
Oh, thanks.
And got connected with this community and with Sasha and this whole inspiration. I'm thankful every day, Sasha, that I went to your class at the Pro Writing Aid every day. So yeah.
What was the topic? Obviously, I do quite a few different sessions every year, but what was the topic? I can't even remember.
It was how to write queer love scenes.
Okay. Cool.
I use a lot in my writing. So.
Amazing. Okay. What are your 2 to 3 goals for 2025?
So my 2 goals are to finish the book that I'm now rewriting, and get it out in a novella and an ebook. And then I'm going to go back to my roots of poetry and spoken word and launch online a blog spoken word thing. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be queer historical spoken word, but it's coming out of me now and I just have to go with it. So that's what I'm going to do.
Amazing. Okay. One tip for listeners for 2025.
Pivot. I took on way too much this year. I'm an Enneagram 7, so I was like, I can do this and this and this and this and this and this. And then life went, no, you can't. So I had to learn how to pivot and focus on one thing and just put other things on the shelf and get to them later. So yeah.
Yeah, that kind of pivot, resilience, like adapt. I still remember, I think it was on Joanna's podcast, Paddy Finn was on there, and he said something like it's not survival of the fittest, but survival of the most adaptable. And I have held on to that because it really, I remember I was in the kitchen and I literally stopped what I was doing and I was like, fuck, like that's so profound and completely right. So yeah, I love that. Who are you going to chuck the mic at?
I'm gonna chuck it to hasn't gone yet. Chris.
Hey, so tell everyone a little bit about you and what you write.
So my name is Chris Holcomb, and I write mysteries that take place in the LGBTQ plus clubs of 1920s New York, of which there were many. Each book is fictional plots, but it does include real historical figures, real queer history, and at least one WTF fact about Prohibition, which you're like, I can't believe it's true, and oh yes, it is. I have the receipts.
Wow. Okay, awesome. What are you grateful for this year?
Well, I mean, community is the thing, but I am grateful for the kind of chosen family that is in my life. And I think after this year's been particularly hard, and I think the chosen family, the ones that are in our circle, have really kind of lifted me up and pushed me forward. And that's something that I'm extremely grateful for.
I'm glad that you have your chosen family. Okay, what are your 2 to 3 goals for next year?
Ooh, okay, so the first one would be the third book of my series, of the Hidden Gotham series, will be released in audiobook, should be out at the top of the year. I'm listening to the audio files now. And then I'm going to release the long delayed book 4 of the series that will hopefully be in time for Pride Month. And then I'm going to be selling direct. So I'm in the process of getting all the print on demands, ebooks, audiobooks, and Shopify all set up. And I'm hoping to have that done as well.
That is very exciting. I mean, I'm way biased on the Shopify situation now, but yeah, I'm very excited for you for that. Okay, a tip for listeners for 2025.
I think stay mischievous. I think as authors, we all have a little kid inside of us who loves to tell a good story, spin a good yarn, and sometimes we forget who that little kid is. With all the crushing pressure of deadlines and, good reviews or bad reviews or whatever, we forget that telling stories is fun. And the way to keep it fun is to keep your mischievous side alive.
I love that. Okay, who are you chucking the mic at?
I'm going to chuck it to Mandy.
Hi, I'm Mandy.
Hey.
I read under a pen name, but I write steamy contemporary romance with a sprinkle of kink.
Oh,
so, yes.
My kind of gal.
We'll see, because I'm pre-published for those on the podcast that don't know me yet. But I'll just roll right into the grateful, because I am grateful for these author communities that, you guys and a few others. And how has nobody talked about Clifton Strength yet? Hello. So as the magpie, because I'm strategic learner input. So I'm the magpie that collects all this knowledge and information from all these more experienced people, because I love it. And then strategically try to apply it to my own, new author business. But I also apply it to everything else in business and life. So thank you all for filling my input well.
Oh, I love it. I love that. And speaking of applying it strategically to your own stuff, what are your own goals for 2025?
So again, I've been at this a while and haven't yet published, but my goals are, I do better with pressure. So my goals are to finally get the first 3 books published, because it's a trilogy. They're all interlinked. And my BHAG goal, a big, hairy, audacious goal, is to qualify for things like NINC, which is probably it's super BHAG, because it's early summer, like May or so, that you have to hit those marks. So we'll see. But if I can get them done, get them out there. But even if I just qualify within the year of that kind of goal. So it's a rubric, gives me a rubric to grade against that way, work towards.
Do you know what the figures are? Because I think I know them off the top of my head, but
yeah, it's like I think it's either 2 or 3 books that have made something that's like, as a new author, crazy high, like 5 or 3,000. Yeah,
5,000 on 2
within
different
the
books.
3 months prior. Yeah, something like that. So we'll see. I mean, but it's gives me something to actually like. It's a big carrot to work towards.
Yeah, and you should like be what was the word? Audacious? Wait, what? Somebody said that. Yeah.
BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure.
Oh,
somebody else said. Well, I can't remember. My brain is dying this evening, but I feel like we're all on the same page this evening. Okay, so a tip for listeners.
This is hard. I'm not published yet, so there's a lot of things I can't share because I haven't experienced it, but I recently saw in another, it was like an AI writing group actually, they'd asked ChatGPT, and I wrote it down here, please tell me something about myself that I might not know or even realize. Because if you've been using it, and I just use the free version, but I've been using it for all sorts of things, spreadsheets, business contracts, brainstorming on character stuff, all kinds of stuff. And it was fabulous because it comes back to you with like insights that I'm like, holy crap. And then I had a fantastic conversation about strengths and what I feel are weaknesses, because those things that are really low and, feel like you're not getting things moving forward because of them. Sorry, gets me all emotional. It pointed out strengths, my top strengths, how to work with those to actually compensate for the things you think are low. And it was a light bulb moment because I was like, holy crap. So have a conversation about ChatGPT about your strengths. It was like all kinds of interesting.
So is this, so what was the phrase that you used?
Please tell me something about myself that I might not know or even realize. And just from its history of all your different conversations and searches and whatnot, it comes up with insights about, how you work, how you strategize, how you, the things that you're good at and the things that you ask about. It was just really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm clearly going to be doing that the second we're off this.
It was very cool. Yeah. And then it got, it just evolved into like a strength thing because whatever it talked about made me think of that. So very cool.
Okay. Who are you going to pass the mic to?
Let's see. Helen hasn't gone, right?
Hey. Hi.
Hi. Tell everyone a little bit about you.
I'm Helen O'Neill. I am I publish personal development nonfiction, and I write mystery fiction under the pen name Jodie Darby.
Amazing. And what are you grateful for this year?
So similarly to many other people, I think a lot of us had some blend of community as our grateful item. For me specifically, it was around the fact that within this community, everybody is so different. Everybody writes in different genres, reads different things. We're from all over the world. We have all sorts of different backgrounds and experiences. But the thing that unites us is our love of words and what we learn from each other because of that, because it's such a welcoming space. It just enriches my life so much. And that is what I'm grateful for. So thank you.
I love that. What about a couple of goals for 2025?
Gosh, so I've got a whole page of goals because achiever number 3. But I'm just going to pick out a couple. So for publishing next year, I've got on the stack 2 nonfiction and 1 fiction. And one of my other goals was to go on a podcast. So this is an early win.
That's hilarious. You get to strike that one off already.
Cheers point done. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sasha.
Talk about going into the year winning. That's hilarious. Okay, and a tip for listeners.
So I think a lot of us start by dreaming about writing a book. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I'm sure we've all had conversations like this where they say, I've thought about writing a book one day. And then we had the kind of, well, you kind of need to actually sit down and put words on the page. And he actually gave me a really good saying, which I thought was words to live by. He said, "There's an ocean between saying and doing." And I really like that. And I think it really applies to the writing world. So I think for us, that's the saying that I would give as my tip.
Yeah. Say it again.
There's an ocean between saying and doing.
Yeah, I love that because there's another phrase that's slightly like twisted on that, but it's that it's like about the value of an idea. Like an idea is nothing unless you execute on it. I'm butchering the quote, but it's that same principle and that same like concept. And yeah, we do have to take action. And almost like we were talking earlier about Cassie. I think it was Cassie's one where she was talking about sort of that fear of like, you know, and leaning in and like doing the doing the thing that you're like afraid of, and it's taking that action and doing the action that is what leads us to our dreams, essentially. Okay, who are you chucking the mic at? We are starting to run down towards the final few.
I think, Karen, you haven't been yet?
Okay, Karen, tell us a little bit about you and what you write.
Okay, I'm Karen Heenan. I live just outside Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I write historical fiction in two widely separated eras, Tudor England and 1930s Pennsylvania, because I fall into random rabbit holes, and that's where I've ended up.
Amazing. What are you grateful for this year?
This is a weird one because I've been very happily self-employed in various forms since 2013. But I actually took a part-time job a couple months ago in my town, and it's just enough money. It's just far enough from my house that it counts as exercise. I get to deal with people in a limited basis, and also I have access to all the weird archives of my quirky little suburban town, and I can see stories everywhere in that building. So I thought I was getting a part-time job, and I've accidentally walked into a trove of story ideas.
I love that. Okay, 2 to 3 goals for next year.
Finish and publish the book that I've put off. It's going to be coming out in March now. And I've also got a partly written one from the other series. So that, and a non-writing goal is my husband and I are going to Paris at the end of March. It's our first trip since before COVID, and we fucking deserve it.
Yes, you do. Paris is amazing.
It was our first trip together, so this is going to be going back to that now. We went the first time in 2007.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So.
It's still just as beautiful. I just wish they'd get rid of the smoke because there's still smoke everywhere in Paris.
You just got back from Vegas.
I know.
Paris is not as smoky as Vegas.
I bitched about the smoke in Vegas too. Spain's the same actually. It's very smoky in Spain as well, I find. But I think I'm so like used to it because of the UK, and we haven't had smoke anywhere for like 20 years now. So we're all like, the minute we go anywhere, there's like a waft of it.
I grew up with parents who were very heavy smokers, and I don't think I realized how used to it I was until I went to 20 Books last year and walked into the casino, and I'm like, not only smells like my childhood, it tastes like it.
Oh my goodness.
I had to shower before bed every night. I couldn't stand myself.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Did I ask you for a tip? I didn't yet, did I?
You did not.
Okay. Tip for listeners.
This is a really hard one for me, but don't be afraid to ask for help. But also listen to it and listen to your own intuition too, because there's asking for help, but all the people who are giving you potentially very good advice still don't live in your head. They don't know how you write, what works best for you. So consider the advice, but listen to yourself in the end. That was how I got into my wrong deadline thing. I listened to very good advice, but it wasn't mine.
Okay, who are you chucking the mic at?
Oh, who do we have left?
We've got Mackenzie, Matt, Kimberly, and I think that is it.
All right, let's do Kimberly.
Hi, tell everyone about you and what you write.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Grimes, and I am a YA fantasy writer. what else about myself?
Well, that's okay. You can stop there if you like. Tell everyone something you're grateful for.
This past year, I'm grateful for community here, as well as the community of writers that I talk with outside of the internet, that we've gotten comfortable enough to text each other and talk to each other on the phone. And I feel like a lot of them have helped me with my nerves because I get really nervous about talking to people. So like when I go places, like when I went to Washington, it's like I'm the one sitting in the corner, just like so nervous to talk to people. So I feel like stepping out of my shell this year was just a lot to do with the community and the people just like literally shoving me to do it.
Oh my God,
So
I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, 2 to 3 goals for 2025.
goals, I wrote them down too because I'll sit here and forget. Um, Finish the series I'm working on. I'm going to do a Kickstarter. I'm going to try something a little different, and I'm releasing an omnibus for the series before the final book releases.
Oh,
So this was planted in my head by a friend, and she was like, "Just do it." And I'm only doing this because majority of my sales are ebook sales for this series. So I feel like if a majority of my sales were print sales, I wouldn't do this. But because there are a lot of KU and ebook series sales, I feel like it's worth doing it or trying it. So I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter for that and finishing the book. And then I'm writing in my spare time, and I'm planning to pitch to an agent next year just to test the waters. I had spoken to an author in the area where I live, and she went from indie to trad. And she had told me a lot of things behind the scenes that I'd never heard. And I was just so intrigued. And I just was like, I just want to dabble in that world. And then I'm also starting a Patreon. But I'm doing a baby Patreon. The whole idea is just to test it out and see. I'm a huge advocate of trying new things. If it doesn't work, screw it, to try something else. And so I'm trying a Patreon because later down the road, I would like to work more with authors for my workbook and offer some kind of one-on-one or not counseling. I need counseling. The course, like a course, just to help people with the steps and everything for the workbook. So the Patreon is kind of my way of trying to connect with more people. And so it's going to be more of an accountability, not a critique group, but more of an accountability and a check-in face to face. So I've been talking with some friends for a few months for this, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. So
cool. Amazing. And what about a tip for listeners for next year?
Oh, something I learned this year. It's okay to say no. I am a yes, 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 yes person. And my plate just got so overwhelmed. And I realized, and it was hard because I had to tell somebody no. And I was crushing me inside and I hated it, but I was like, I have to say no. So it's okay to say no.
Yeah, that one cuts deep. Okay, who are you chucking the mic at? You've got Matt or Mackenzie?
Let's go with Matt.
Hey, tell everyone a little bit about you, Matt, and what you write. Are you unmuting or can you not mute? Unmute. Okay, I'm going to come back to Matt at the end, see if he can figure out how to unmute himself. And we're going to hop to Mackenzie. Hello, hello. Tell everyone a little bit about you and what you write.
Hi. So yes, I'm Mackenzie Alexander. I write fantasy romance with mystery and family secrets. And yeah. And then you want to know what I'm grateful for?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm grateful for my husband because he has been carrying the bulk of all the work in our house since everybody here knows I broke my ankle in September. And I'm also grateful that now I'm able to slowly take on those responsibilities back onto my plate. So he's been amazing. Yeah.
Okay, what are 2 to 3 goals for next year?
So my first goal is to get my book ready to send to Amy to be edited, and then publish that book in 2025, and then write the second book.
Amazing. And you are, I believe, number one learner, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you must have a wealth of tips for listeners, but can you give them just one for 2025?
Yes. So my tip is to get an accountability buddy, because one person in our group asked for an accountability partner, and of course I threw my hand up. I was like, sure. And I thought it was going to be kind of me just encouraging her and giving her accountability, but then she would kind of ask me, okay, well, let me do this for you. And I've realized that that's my kink, is accountability.
Oh my God, I fucking love it.
And I love telling someone what I accomplished and then hearing what they accomplished and cheerleading them on. So it's drastically increased all of my productivity just because I have somebody else to be like, I did this.
Oh, I love that one so much. I also love accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you are chucking the mic at Matt. So, Matt, have you got your mic working?
I have. I just didn't know which button to press.
Hilarious. Okay, tell everyone a little bit about you and what you write.
Okay, I am self-published for children's picture books, and I will be developing a pen name because I'm working on incredibly spicy contemporary romance.
I'm so excited for you. I literally can't wait.
Just don't think that it's a good Google combination.
I wouldn't, if I'm honest. Okay, what are you grateful for this year?
As everyone else here has said, community. This Slack community has just been incredibly positive and encouraging through everything, throughout every part of the year, but also for my partner. If it wasn't for his support, I probably would have sunk and just, well, not given up on writing, but definitely been a lot slower than where I'm at right now. He's the one that's given me the push and told me that I have the opportunity at the moment to give this writing gig a full-time go. And so I am now fully and officially out of work and a full-time writer.
That is exciting. Oh my goodness me. Okay, and on that note, what are your 2 to 3 goals for next year?
Well, I have to go back for revisions for the 3 romance novellas because I've completed the first drafts on all of them. And so revisions, and then find an editor to tell me where I've gone wrong on everything.
Oh my goodness me, I'm so excited for you. Okay, are you going to publish them next year too?
Yes, that's the intention, is to publish them. They're all individuals but interconnected. So every novella has a character that will appear as a minor role, and then they become the major role in the following one.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Okay, one tip for listeners for 2025.
Don't be afraid of what you have inside of you already. There's I have a really disgusting ability to look at print on page and spot typos from a mile away. And inconsistencies where, like 3 pages ago, someone will have been sitting down and then they're suddenly walking out of the room and there was no transition, or they're in a different room, etc., or they're in the car. And to me, they're really glaringly obvious. And I've found that it's something that I've been able to offer to authors, is that I'm happy to read books before they hit publication and to send them back screenshots with where I found those errors. It was something that is just inside of me, and I credit my mum for that, because she was an absolute militant commandant about making sure I was great on reading and writing. But it's sat inside me for so long. And so there are things that we all have inside of us that we often just think, it's just my natural ability. But don't be afraid of it, because it could be an incredible skill and strength that other people don't have and you can offer to them.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to monetize that either. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I am very grateful to all of you guys for joining me on this spontaneous podcast episode, because for listeners, I gave them exactly 2 minutes notification that we were going to do this. So as I can't remember who said it, but somebody mentioned pivoting. Ruth, was it you that mentioned pivoting? That is what they had to do this evening. So I'm super, super grateful for all of you guys for doing that. I'm not going to do my 2 to 3 goals because I do talk about that in the Black Heron episode. So I feel like I've kind of already done that, so I don't want to overkill it. But I suppose my tip for 2025 is a bit of an unusual one. So it's circling round for everything that I guess, well, some of you have said. So some of you have talked about saying no. And my advice to you is to work out what your hourly rate is. Because for me, saying no was really hard. But what wasn't hard was understanding no in a business context. So I worked out what my hourly rate was, like what I earn per hour. Any task that I can pay somebody to do for less than that hourly rate, I shouldn't be doing. So that has really, really helped me almost do a complete 180 where I'm like outsourcing everything. And now I'm able to say no in a whole different way because I have like the business context framework to do it. Obviously, there's stuff that I have to still do, but yeah, it's that's my tip for everybody is work out what your hourly rate is. And if there's a task that you can outsource to somebody for less, get rid of it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. And I hope that this has given listeners a little bit of a warm hug for the start of 2025. I hope you feel inspired and pepped up, ready to go and smash it. And one last bit of gratitude is from me to the whole of this community, because you guys are absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for joining me, and you can hear me next week when I interview somebody else.
Don't forget to tune in and subscribe on your podcatcher. And when you have a moment, please leave a review.